Welcome to this week's Character Unlock, where we are joined by a good buddy of mine, or a good buddy of ours, who is going to talk to us about the Nintendo Switch, because nothing else is happening at the moment. We've got no news, we've got no nothing, so instead we're going to waste fuck knows how much time talking about the Nintendo Switch. I am hosting, as always. I'm Andrew Brooker, and joining me is my good buddy John. You right, John?
Howdy.
And for the first time ever, we've wanted to get him on for quite some time, my mate Jack. Hello, Jack.
Hello, how you doing?
Good, mate. Thanks for coming on. It's good to have you on with us finally.
Not a problem. It's good to finally be on, to be fair. It's been quite some time with me now. I've been bugging you for ages just to let me on.
Well, here's your chance. We have no news this week. So the news is we have a new guest on Character Unlock this week. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name's Jack. I stream on Twitch. Well, not quite there just yet, but maybe after tonight I will be. Twitch on stream. Stream on Twitch, rather. Play games, work, kids. However boring you want to make me out, that's fine.
Fair enough. What do you play?
Final Fantasy 14, Zelda, Horizon. Horizon. Yeah, Horizon.
Cool.
Horizon 3. I can't remember the fucking name of it now.
Horizon Zero Dawn.
No, Horizon 3. Shut up.
You mean Forza
Horizon? There we go. That's the one.
Fair enough. Because we've known each other for a couple of years now, haven't we? We played the Killzone. I forgot what it was called.
Was it Killzone 2 that we played together on the PlayStation 3?
We did play Killzone 2 together. Then we beta tested the Vita version for a little while, didn't we?
Yeah, I think we did.
So we've been playing games together for a long time.
That really was some time ago now.
It was.
How the fuck have I put up with you for so long?
I don't know. I fucking put up with you. But yeah, so we've dragged you on because you've. We'll talk about it a little way down the line. But you picked up a Switch on launch, which is.
I did.
Which is something we both me and John have said. Well, we just won't do. Just no. So I want to pick your brains a little bit about the Switch. So.
That's fine.
So yes,
right.
We'll quiz you about that a little bit later on. But you know what? We're going to skip straight past news because, like I said earlier, there is none. We spent a good 10 minutes before we started recording trying to find some news to talk about, and there is woefully fuck all going on. So, in that spirit, what we've been playing. So, John, would you like to tell us what you've been playing?
Oh, God.
If you say Mass Effect, I'm hanging up this fucking call.
I'm not going to say Mass Effect. I'm going to say instead I played Steep this weekend because it was free on Xbox Live. My God, that was such a waste of my life.
It's a fucking ghastly game.
I managed to pick up 4 achievements for it by complete accident because at one point I accidentally selected skiing instead of snowboarding.
Okay.
Seriously, I went to go snowboard down a mountain, ended up picking the skis, decided to then go down the mountain anyway, and then did like a backflip, and then like a 360-degree spin and a couple of other tricks that I'd previously done on a snowboard. I did it on the skis, and apparently that's achievement worthy.
Fair enough.
I don't fucking understand that at all.
No, I don't understand Steep. I played it for a couple of hours, and I just literally I looked at it and went, this is bullshit. It's complete bollocks. It's SSX without any of the fun.
Yes, I'm going to agree with that. It is definitely SSX without any fun. The only reason I picked it up was because I had a friend of mine, Danny, decided to text me and said we should play Steep this weekend because it's free. So I was like, screw it. Multiplayer snowboarding, that's what SSX was supposed to be when it was launched on the 360 not that long ago. But when after playing it for about an hour, I then texted him saying, don't bother finishing your install. Stop wasting your internet. Such a bad game. It's probably the worst game I've played on my Xbox One, and I'm including Astroneer on this list.
I don't even know what Astroneer is.
Just look up Astroneer and look into it. It's Minecraft in space.
Well, I'll tell you what, while I go and Google aids for my eyeballs, let's tell us what you actually didn't like about Steep. What was so shit about Steep? Because I played it. I just think it's massively wank.
It's The worst part is actually probably what they consider to be its most redeeming feature, in that it's a free roam snowboarding game. So you teleport yourself to the top of a mountain, snowboard down it, and then you've got the option to then climb back up the mountain or teleport to somewhere else on the mountain. Why that's even an option is stupid. It should really be, here is a mountain, and you've got a series of different runs that you can do on this mountain, rather than going, oh yeah, we've just decided to then go, fuck it, we'll give you this section of the mountain for no fucking reason whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's just completely and utterly bollocks. It doesn't need to be there. So many snowboarding games have come before, so many different games have come before where it's just been point A to point B, or just give a section of an area and let us do runs. Don't make me want to have to climb up the mountain to then redo a section.
No, I agree with you completely. When I played it before, the first thing that comes to mind is you go, well, again, SSX, even that fucking awful Dark Summit, it was sections of mountain. You race, you do the thing, and then you move on to the next one. That's how a racing game works. They've basically applied the Forza Horizon school of open world racing games to a snowboarding game, and it doesn't work.
It's the other side. It's the teleport to the top of the mountain, and then you have to walk or ski or something to the point where you start the race, rather than just going, oh, I teleported to the top, I'm ready to go. You need to go fucking walk 20 feet. What's the fucking point?
It is a massive bag of shit. I can't believe, this game's not that old. It's only a couple of months old, and already it's getting free weekends to try and get people to play it. I don't know anybody that owns this game.
It was a free weekend, and it dropped in price to 20 quid.
God,
and no, it's not worth 20 quid. I spend a lot of time earning that 20 quid.
Yeah.
And I'm not wasting it on this game.
No. If you want to drop, I don't know, I'll take Ghost Recon for 20 quid, happily. Because I quite fancy Ghost Recon. But no, I played Steam.
The Division with trees.
Absolutely, that's exactly what it is. But it's Ghost Recon. I do have a soft spot for the Ghost Recon franchise.
Yeah, I suppose I've got the equivalent soft spot for both Splinter Cell and Rainbow Six. So.
Yeah. See, sadly, I was too busy dicking around with the VR games that I borrowed from Boomerang, so I didn't send them back in time to get it sent to me. So now I'm sitting in a queue like a fucking tit, waiting for someone to send Ghost Recon back so I can play it. Just literally, I feel like the last man in the queue who can't get his fucking cinema tickets, just staring like a dick. Oh my game, oh my game. Anyway,
please tell me, John, that you did enjoy the only part of the game, which is standing on a part of a mountain, selecting the jumpsuit, and then trying to walk forward.
I can't say that I tried to walk forward. The only time I used the jumpsuit was to jump off the mountain and try and glide as close to the floor, fail miserably at gliding close to the floor and nailing the floor.
But how many times did you get into the wingsuit, jump, and then just land face first on the floor without actually going a single square foot?
At least 7 times.
It's like
because I gave up.
It's like the time you fail at the insurance fraud bit in Saints Row. You just go boom.
Yes, you're running at full speed, hit insurance fraud, and just fall over straight in front of. That's it.
Yeah.
Nothing. No cars. Nothing.
It's not really insurance fraud. It's just drunk running.
What's the other thing that they have in Steep? Is parachuting or something stupid?
Yeah.
Paragliding.
Yeah, you got
or is it parachuting?
It's parachuting, I think. So you got parachute, wingsuit, skis, and snowboard, and no objective.
Clearly, they just went, oh yeah, what are extreme sports? I don't know, snowboarding, skiing, wingsuits, and parachuting.
I'd prefer they give me a BMX.
BMX on snow would have been awesome. But parachuting is just wingsuits, except fucking oh wait, wingsuits except fucking stupid.
Dear Lord, did you just play Steep or did you play anything else?
I played some other games, but I won't mention them because you'll hurt me.
Okay, yeah, let's not talk about those. I'm not a fan of Custer's Revenge. I don't think anyone should play it. So, Jack.
Yes.
What have you been playing that isn't Switch games? We'll talk about Switch games later on.
Other than the standard Final Fantasy 14, it's mostly been Horizon Zero Dawn. I've been absolutely loving that game. For the short amount of time that I have actually played it, I haven't got very far. I'm only like level 10, I think.
Okay.
But I'm fine. I'm absolutely loving it. It's a lot of go here, go there, do this, do that. But the constant worry of being found by robotic dinosaurs and animals and other stuff is rather exhilarating. Purely for the fact that I'm constantly being hunted down. It's slightly annoying, but also really fun at the same time, purely because it just keeps you on constant alert for whatever you've got to find. So that's always a really good bunch of fun. And the other one I've been playing at the moment is the fact that Tearaway Unfolded came out on PlayStation Plus, as well as Disc Jam. So I've gave both of those a go. I've always been interested in the Tearaway series. I've never actually played them, but I've always been a fan of Media Molecule for the Little Big Planet series.
Yeah.
So I've gave that a go, and I'm rather enjoying Tearaway. I'm thinking that the kids are going to quite enjoy it, so I'm going to let them have a go at it, quite possibly next weekend or the weekend after if they're back from the grandparents.
Yeah. And
I reckon they'll really enjoy that. And I've gave Disc Jam a go. That is relatively fun.
What's Disc Jam?
It's essentially a basketball kind of game / volleyball / dodgeball kind of thing. It's all played with a frisbee disc essentially. Okay. Where if you catch it, the longer you hold it, the slower it goes. You've only got a second to actually throw it. But if it falls on the floor or hits the back wall or anything like that, you score a certain amount of points. And then it's the first to 50 wins the set, and then it's the best out of 3.
Okay.
I played 2 online matches, lost the first set on both of them, and then absolutely smashed my opponent on the second round on both goes. So I enjoyed that quite a lot. He was screaming at me over the mic, which I thought was fantastic.
Nice.
Just to kill him.
Yeah, that would be the reason why I usually unplug my mic when I take my games online.
Yeah, I don't normally go on with my mic, but he had his on purely because the text chat on there is ever so slightly like Rocket League, where it gives you set messages to send over.
Yeah.
And it was constantly a barrage of something along the lines of "you're screwed," and then it was "oh shit," and then it was a lot of different characters to indicate kind of "fuck you." So
fair enough.
I was having fun with that.
Nice. Excellent.
Decided to look at a video of Disc Jam because it sounds interesting.
I've seen it on YouTube once, because I do tend to watch quite a bit of YouTube while I'm feeding my daughter. And I've only ever seen it the once. I wasn't too interested, but after I've played it, it's a lot more fun to actually play than it is to watch. So I certainly would recommend it if you've got access to it. I'm not too sure if it's on the Xbox, but at least it's free on the PlayStation, because I think it actually only released, kind of like how Rocket League did as well, where it's actually released and then it's just gone straight onto PlayStation Plus for free. So nice. I do actually recommend playing that.
It's on PlayStation and on Windows. So yeah, it's essentially just Rocket League but with frisbees.
Cool. Give that a go.
It's 3D Pong or air hockey. It's
fair enough.
Yeah, you can see what I mean. Where it doesn't exactly look like it would be fantastic, but it ends up a lot of fun, and you can even play doubles for 4-player matches as well. So if you do get that on PlayStation Plus, okay, I'd quite enjoy to give you a good thrashing on that.
Yeah, I'll let you try.
I would. I always beat him in sport games.
It's just like Rocket League in the sense that there's almost no substance to it, but it looks really fun.
Cool.
Rocket League is always fun, especially if you've got multiple people playing with you at the same time and they're all friends. Just makes it that little bit more competitive and more fun. And plus, you can trash talk everyone.
I just keep sending whoops to everyone whenever I do anything on Rocket League.
I haven't played Rocket League in ages. I own it on both consoles as well, and I haven't played it in fucking forever.
I've got it on PS4 and PC at the minute. I've deleted it off my PS4, but I've still got it on my PC because I tend to have late night gaming with a couple of my German friends, and they play quite often. And it's one of the only games that we all have. So we tend to just do 2v1 or join public sessions and get absolutely wrecked on every match.
Fair enough. So I mean, my what we've been playing list isn't actually that long this week. I think I've added maybe 12 hours onto my playtime for Horizon. But the beautiful thing about that so far is I'm not very far, and I know I'm not very far. I know I'm not very far because I keep scanning dinosaur things because I want to kill them. And A, they are far, far too high level for me to go anywhere near. And B, the things they're weak to are things I haven't even unlocked yet. So I know I've still got a way to go before I'm even at that point where things start getting easy. But I have to admit, because I don't really play RPGs. Well, I don't play RPGs. Not even don't really. I just don't play RPGs. I've got like literally no resource management skills at all. I don't know how to manage what I'm collecting, the stuff I need for crafting. I'm absolute dog shit at it. But the fact is, even with me being a complete numpty at these things, I'm still really, really enjoying Horizon. It is a really, really good game. And it's absolutely the kind of game that I am desperately trying to find extra time to play. But what's so good about it is the world that you kind of sit in. I'll give an example. Like Saturday night or Friday night, I didn't have an awful lot of time to play. I had friends coming around for the weekend. I had a house to clean, a dog to walk and all that kind of shit. I had about an hour to game. And an hour is not long enough to get your teeth into one of the main character quests on this game. So instead I just ran around and explored. I literally ran from where I was to the beginning of the next mission and just dicked around on the path between those two places. It was absolutely brilliant.
Well, the thing is, even between that path, there'd have been 5 or 6 different routes you could take, and then probably about another 2 or 3 side quests for you to pick up, as well as numerous amounts of items to gather. And I mean, even in the amount of time that I've played it, the amount of Ridgewood that I've collected, I've easily got over 1,000, which is now taking up over 4 slots in my inventory at the minute, and it's just getting stupid because if I see something I can collect, I have to pick it up, no matter what it is.
Yeah, see, I'd done that with the Ridgewood, and I took up 3 slots in my inventory. I was like, well, I don't fucking need this anymore. I just don't need that much. There's no chance in hell of me ever running out of this stuff, so I just don't collect it anymore.
Yeah, I kind of had to stop myself. Even the wife started having a go at me saying, look, you've got 1,000 of it. You only use up like 2 or 3 to create a set of 10 arrows.
Yeah.
What are you ever going to do with 1,000? And it's just like, I don't know. I have a problem. I have to collect. And
that's the thing.
She ended up having to go.
But I found myself, and I assume this is what everybody does when they play RPGs. But I sat and I found myself going through all the kit that I can craft to to hold more arrows or hold more resources, and I'm just doing that instead of doing missions. I'm farming stuff so I can make this, collect all these different pouches and things. I don't know why I'm doing it, apart from the fact that I haven't got time really to get into main quests, so I'm just collecting things. But I have to admit, after a few hours playing, that the main character in it, Aloy, is probably one of the best characters I've played with in quite some time. I think she's a really cool character. She's smart, she's strong, she's sarcastic. I like sarcastic people. And she's fucking great. And she's got this right amount of cockiness about her where it makes her a really cool character without making you want to reach in through the screen and punch her in her stupid face. So I have to admit I'm quite a big fan of Aloy and the world that they've created as well. And these fucking dinosaur things, these machines are. I didn't think it was going to be a thing, but when you run around and you realise just how much effort you're going to have to put in to either beat or run away from one of these fucking great dinosaurs that you're nowhere near strong enough to take on, it actually puts you on the edge of your seat as you try and sneak around it and hope that fucking great patrolling Tyrannosaurus looking thing that you've just spotted doesn't spot you too. I didn't expect that to actually, I didn't expect that to affect how I played my game. I was very, very impressed. I can't, 12, 15 hours-ish, I've barely scratched the surface, and I still can't say enough good things about Horizon Zero Dawn. And of course, it's made by Guerrilla, the guys that make Killzone. They're fucking awesome. Everybody should give them money.
Yeah, you really can't go wrong with them, really, can you?
No, apart from that silly Vietnam thing they made for the PS2. which was ghastly. But everything else, apart from that, they've only made Killzone and this, but they've been really good. You still with us there, John?
Sorry, I switched off when you started talking about Horizon.
Fair enough.
It's getting cheeky now.
But the only other thing I played a couple of things. I've done some bit of button mashing fun on Mortal Kombat XL with my mate who was down at the weekend, and that's so much fun to play. Have you guys played the new Mortal Kombat game?
Mortal Kombat X, is it? I played it probably back in October time, I think, when it had just recently released at the time. And I had a lot of fun with it, but I can't get along with fighting games at all. The last fighting game I had a decent amount of fun with. Now, I'm going back some years here, but it was the original Dragon Ball Z Budokai game on the PlayStation 2.
Okay.
And it was because, obviously, it was aimed at kids around the age of early teen years, of which I was at the time. And it was nice, simple combination attacks.
Yeah.
Like, say, just square, 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 circle would have been your main Kamehameha wave. And that made it so much easier for me to learn how to play fighting games. But every one of them since then has just got more and more complicated. And then all the other fighting games have followed as well, where they all require certain directions to be pressed at the same time as certain buttons. And then you have to change to another one just for the next button. And it's too much for me to do combination moves. So I end up being stuck with just the pure punching and kicking, few backflips maybe, and that's about it, as much as I can handle from Mortal Kombat. And I'll just get my ass whooped.
What about you, John? Have you played any of Mortal Kombat XL?
I haven't played any of Mortal Kombat, mainly because, well, fighting games aren't exactly my forte.
Fair enough.
But I will give an honorary mention to the fact that Dr. Fate is now in Injustice. Well, been announced for Injustice 2.
Yeah. Will you be picking up Injustice 2?
I like Dr. Fate. It's probably not enough to pick up Injustice 2 to play it, but I would certainly now be more likely to give it a rent.
I would say probably from Mortal Kombat, the reboot, or Mortal Kombat 9 as it actually was. So Mortal Kombat, Injustice, Mortal Kombat X, and hopefully Injustice 2 are worth picking up, even if you're not really into fighting games, because actually their story modes are quite fun. You know, they have an actual story going through, and if you drop it down to very easy, it's almost impossible to lose.
I'd still find a way.
Well, probably. You are kind of special that way.
Me in fighting games is like you in racing games.
Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, it's the thing with Mortal Kombat XL, and my mate that came down, he doesn't really play games very often, but he does love like button mashing fighting games, and he takes great delight in just literally sitting there and smashing face buttons on my Xbox controller while I'm sitting there delicately trying to do combos and shit. And him always fucking winning. Because button mashing bastards. But yeah, it was a ton of fun. And actually, I forgot how much fun Mortal Kombat XL is. And actually, how gorgeous it is. It looks phenomenal. I'm really quite looking forward to Injustice 2, which I think Injustice 2 is in May. So I'm really quite looking forward to getting my hands on that one and spending a bit of time beating the shit out of Superman. But the only other thing I played, and this is very brief because I didn't really play it, but I'm going to talk about it because I can and because I think it's awesome. I've been promising my little girl that she can have some time on the PlayStation, and I installed Little Big Planet 3 so she could have a play with it. And actually, when we got around to trying it, I was like, actually, I've got something better for you. And I reinstalled the Playroom. Have you guys come across the Playroom on PS4 yet?
I have. Obviously, I've got the PlayStation VR myself.
Yeah.
Also,
but not just the VR one, because it's got a normal version as well, a non-VR version.
I don't have a camera for my PlayStation 4, so I can't really play the Playroom, but I did play it GX like 4 years ago when the PlayStation, may have been 5 years ago, when the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One were being announced.
Yeah.
So that's my entire knowledge of the Playroom is from that 5-minute period 5 years ago.
Fair enough. Well, basically, it's just like a bunch of AR bot mini-games. So there's nothing big or special or clever about them. But I tell you what, once the kid, like, she's got the controller and she's sitting there, you know, literally on screen throwing these little bots out of the controller, because she can see herself and she can see the controller on screen, and now she can see these bots coming out of them. Guys, it was fucking amazing because she's got no idea what's going on. So when she can see herself, and then she can see like little robots next to her on the screen. She starts looking around to see if they're actually next to her. It's really fucking cool. But yeah, just the glee on this kid's face as she was able to hoover up these little AR bots with the controller. Fucking amazing. I can't wait to start showing her more, complicated stuff. But for a 3-year-old, sitting there playing the AR bots, and she keeps asking for them now. She wants to play the little robot game. So that's going to be our thing, I think, for a little while, is playing AR bots on the PlayStation. But yeah, that's pretty much my list, my what we've been what I've been playing list. Because
what might be worth trying as well, if you've got the PlayStation app on your phone or your tablet or anything else like that, you can actually use it as a second screen. And in, I think it's either 1 or 2 of the multiplayer games in the Playroom, you can actually then use the tablet or the phone to draw shapes and everything, and then you can literally throw it into the game for the robots to play with. So that might be another way that you can play with your daughter with it as well.
Yeah, that's quite cool. I might have a play. I didn't know you could do that. Yeah, I wanted her to have a play with it and see what she thought. And I thought maybe Little Big Planet for a 3-year-old might be a little bit complicated. So I decided to leave it and went with the Playroom. But yeah, I might get the app because I don't use the PlayStation that often. I removed most of the apps from my tablet and my phone. Oh, cool. Thanks for that.
And use the Switch tablet in order to play it on the PlayStation.
I wish I could. I really do.
Because then that might actually be worth paying the money for a Switch. Because it's just a cheap
That's what the Vita's for.
True.
Yeah, that's a thought. The Vita can actually be used in the same way as well, that the Vita can be used to create the shapes and everything as well, just like the tablet would.
Nice. Well, I don't have my Vita anymore, sadly. So yeah, that's what we've all been playing. So moving on, we're going to have a bit of a chat. Now it's been out for a little while. We're going to have a bit of a chat about the Nintendo Switch, which has sold exceptionally well, if reports are to be believed. If I remember rightly, one of the reports I read said it was, at least in Europe, Nintendo's best-selling day one console, which is an impressive feat considering just how much the original Wii sold. But I suppose that was over quite a long period of time. But yeah, for all intents and purposes, it's done Nintendo a world of good, and everybody that I know of that has gotten a Switch seems to really enjoy it, as much as a lot of us have been talking shit about it without ever actually playing it. So, Jack, you bought a Switch on launch?
I did. I was
what games
one of
did you buy with it?
Only Zelda. That was pretty much the only game that actually gave me any kind of interest. A lot of people have also been raving and ranting about the game called Snipperclips, which is essentially a multiplayer puzzle game, whereby you've got, obviously, because the two controllers separate from the screen, you've got one little character played by each of the controllers. So standard multiplayer, or if you're playing on your own, you can actually control both of them with either stick, so that's not a problem as well. And essentially it's where you've got to fill shapes and everything by cutting and adding to each of the characters. So, for example, if you've got a love heart shape, they are rounded at the bottom, flat at the top. So you'd have to rotate each character to then be round on the top and then flat on the bottom, so that you can make the heart shape. And then there's others where the shape that you need to fill is two J's against each other, kind of thing, on their side. And you've then got to fill in that kind of shape by cutting away from each other to try and make that same shape. So it's a relatively fun puzzle game. And to be fair, I think it'd be rather a big hit with the kids, because it's nice, simple, colourful, everything else, quite enjoyable for what kids would like. So makes it all the better.
Nice. So we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. How's the hardware for the Switch? How does it feel robust when you click it, and it has a proper click when you take it in and out of the stand?
It actually does. I mean, let me just put the kickstand back. If I take the controller off, because look, I've actually got it here with me at the minute. If I turn the volume up as well, the little sound effect that they give you when they first bring on the Nintendo Switch advertisement, where you see the little controller clicking, it does actually play that sound, which I thought was quite a nice feature. So If you heard that, I don't know if
Yeah.
you did. So it always gives you that sound, and it's really satisfying just for that little tiny touch there, because it still makes you feel like you're actually playing it, and it does remind you that, yeah, it's exactly what they've advertised.
Okay.
I mean, when I first opened the box, the screen was surprisingly small for what I thought it was, and even it still is now. I honestly thought it would be bigger. 6.2 inch screen itself, and then I would probably say on the left and right hand side of the screen, it's probably about 3/4 of an inch wide on either side. So you're probably looking in total about 7 inches, maybe about 8 tops.
So the actual playable, the screen there is, you say 6.5 inches?
6.2, if my information is correct.
It's not. What's that compared to, say, an iPhone? I'm gonna pretend that I'm not googling this while we talk.
I believe iPhones, from what my knowledge is, I think standard iPhones are about 5.2 inch or maybe 5 inch.
And the
So we've got an
iPhone.
extra. Second.
The fat man's iPhone, the Plus.
That's what I'm looking at, because I have a Plus.
I think the Plus is 6.2, so I think, or maybe a bit smaller, I think, for the Plus. So, yeah, you're probably looking about the same size as an iPhone 6 Plus.
Okay.
That seems a lot smaller than what they looked like they were advertising.
Yeah, so,
Exactly.
Okay, so the 6 Plus, or the 6 and 7 Plus, are 5.5 inch screens. So that's not that much bigger than my phone. The thing is, right, I've not seen one of these things up close, or even in real life, or even attached to somebody that I can, use for scale. So I've got no idea how big this screen is. But that does not seem like a big screen. And I'm not being negative. Really not. I want the Switch to do well, because I want Nintendo to do well, so that they can actually do a console that interests me one day. But
I just want them to make software. If they put their entire to the software side, then I'd be very happy.
But 6.5. I'm trying to imagine, because that must be. I mean, I thought those Joy-Con things looked small anyway, but they must be smaller than I ever imagined.
Yeah, they are tiny. I mean, left Joy-Con, I have absolutely no problems with at all. My index finger
Joy-Con is the one with the Bluetooth issues, isn't it? Or the
apparently, yeah.
Bluetooth issues. Okay.
But for sizing, my index finger fits nice and slowly on the trigger. The top left button is literally just within a probably a couple of millimeters movement. Joystick fits nice and snugly into my thumb, and then the extra buttons, which are so often used in Zelda, but that takes a bit more of a strain. The right one, I have problems with for size. Okay. Again, index finger fits nice and snugly at the trigger, but then because the joystick is at the bottom of the 4 face buttons, I am constantly having to squash my thumb just to get down to the trigger and push it down. And that makes it so uncomfortable for me. It's unbelievable, because I've got rather large hands, and I'm constantly struggling to make it fit in my hand properly.
See, that sounds like I would actually find that a real struggle. Because I don't have hands. I have fucking gorilla paws. So I kind of feel the need to go down to game and just pick one up and try it. I can't imagine that being comfortable for me to use at all. And actually, now that I know kind of how big the screen is and where the things would sit, the Joy-Cons would sit in relation to that screen, I can't actually imagine being able to sit comfortably and game portably like that, because my hands would be a bit too close together.
You'd have to lie down and have it above your face, and then occasionally drop it.
Yeah, so it land on your nose.
This is why generally, if I'm playing it at home, I've either got it in the stand attached to my TV, and I literally sit not with the 2 Joy-Cons attached to the little Joy-Con grip thing that it comes with, but just having them separate, purely because on some of the Zelda puzzles, it actually makes it like, have you ever played the old 3D ball puzzle games, physically in your hands, where you've got to rotate the ball around just to get a metal ball bearing across the puzzle?
Yeah.
It's like that, and it's the right Joy-Con that does that, and it's a hell of a lot easier to literally just hold the right Joy-Con flat in your palm and then rotate it that way, like that, just because it makes it that much easier. Whereas if it was on the Joy-Con grip that it chips with, it's a lot more awkward, purely because then you've got to try and rotate your both hands and wrists. It's a lot more comfortable to have them separate for me.
Yeah. Fair enough. And have you played Zelda like with it handheld and on your TV?
I've tried all methods at the moment, which is quite lucky for myself. Because obviously I had to travel out to Manchester yesterday for work.
Yeah.
I took it with me, and while I was on my lunch break at my customer's site, I actually got it out for a bit. Took the controllers off, left it on its stand, on its little kickback stand, and literally just sat there and played it for a bit. It was only about 15-20 minutes, but it was just something to keep me going while I was there.
Okay.
The screen is big enough to be able to be recognised probably from about 3 to 4 feet away and have no problem at all. Any further than that, I do struggle.
Fair enough.
I can't see the HUD properly on Zelda. I can't see exactly where I'm going and stuff like that. So it's generally easier if I actually click the Joy-Cons onto the side and then just have it in handheld mode. But I repeat, because of sometimes with the Zelda puzzles having to have the 3D rotation puzzle on it, it's a lot more awkward as well, because then I've then got to rotate the entire console itself, and that can sometimes make it awkward as well. Because having to rotate the entire thing and then actually get everything to line up the way that you want it for the game is tedious, to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds a lot like when I had the Vita and I had the PS4 remote play thing on it. The best use I had for that was when I was, we were watching telly or we were watching something else, and I could, let's say for example, play Assassin's Creed 4 on the Vita. So, but instead of like going through and doing missions and things and doing actual things that I would need to be able to see the whole screen for, like I would use it in portable mode, which I suppose is what you call it on the Switch.
Yep.
I would be using that for, I don't know, resource collection or, discovering bits of maps, complete stuff you do to cover completion, but you don't really want to waste valuable gaming time doing when you've got access to the big TV. That I think is how I would have to use the
handheld mode.
The handheld mode. What's it? Talking size. Sorry, 'cause I'm kind of hung up on this. Compared to the Vita screen, how big is the screen compared to a Vita screen?
Let me get mine out. Hang on. Luckily, I've got my bag right next to me, and that's got my Vita in there as well. If I remember correctly, the Vita for the old version with the OLED screen and the other one were exactly the same size, weren't they?
Yeah,
screen size.
Yeah.
Okay. If I compare the sizes directly, Vita on top of the Switch, the Vita literally sits snugly, smack bang in the middle, with just a bit of overlapping on the right and left hand side of the screen. And it's probably about 3/4 of the size height wise.
Yeah. Okay,
so it's bigger than the Vita at least.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm trying to picture the size of the thing, and I'm a complete imbecile when it comes to trying to imagine things. I need shit in front of me.
Dude, just go to that Belong at game of Milton Keynes at some point and just like ask if they have a Vita.
You realise the last time I looked at, I just casually started looking at new tech, I came home with a fucking PlayStation VR and a very angry wife.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not allowed in places like that.
I don't think you'd pick up a Switch.
Almost certainly not.
It's like I don't think it really matters how much of it you played with. I don't think you'd pick it up.
I might pop down and have a look.
Your hands are too big.
I get that feeling. So, anyways, moving on. So I
have a question.
Oh yes, go on. Sorry, mate.
This is about the hardware. Would you consider that the portable mode is actually a 3DS replacement?
No, purely for the fact that the 3DS can be used for a lot of stuff. Obviously, it's got thousands upon thousands now of software choices for everything. And purely on the fact that I am one of the biggest Pokemon fans going at this age. There is no Pokemon announced for the Switch yet, and I'm rather disappointed by that. There are rumors going around that it's coming out, but nothing official yet. So far, for me, no, it is not a replacement for my two lovely 3DSs. It's literally something that I can buy games for, play them at home, knowing that the fact that my kids cannot steal them away from me, and I can just take it to work as I please.
Well, the lack of Pokemon announcement, I understand. I mean, the most recent game is only about 6 months old. They're not going to immediately jump onto, what would it be, Diamond and Pearl remakes.
Yeah.
Sounds like old lady porn.
Oh, God. Pearl necklace and everything else. Lovely. Thanks for that image.
Not where I was going, but okay.
Either way.
And Pearl are the names of the porn stars.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. I would consider them more stripper names, but we'll go with that as well.
Old lady
definitely
porn
Pearl was definitely an old lady's name. So is there no virtual console on the Switch then?
Not yet, but they have announced that they are... no, technically there is. They announced that they are doing Neo Geo games, which some are already available at the moment, which are quite good, but the fact that I never actually played a Neo Geo and had absolutely no idea what one was until I was in my second year of secondary school. That was the only time I'd ever seen one. And yeah, I wasn't too happy about it at the time. And I don't know any of the games that are on there at the moment. But as for the official Virtual Console, they have announced they will be doing it. But nothing yet on any kind of Wii U or Wii games or anything else like that. I think they're probably just going to be going with like Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, and all of those again.
So what I'm actually asking is, will they give you the ability to play 3DS games on it?
I don't imagine they would, purely for the fact that 99.9% of the 3DS games do require both screens, and any games that require only the one and have the touchscreen as an additional bit of kit probably wouldn't cut the grade for Virtual Console anyway.
Okay, so no being able to play the 3DS version of Pokemon.
No, sadly not. However, they may release Red and Blue on there. They've done that for the 3DS now, so I'm kind of hoping that they do it for the Switch.
Cool.
He's hoping anyway, but yeah.
So when you've played Zelda on it on the in portable mode and on kickstand mode and whatever.
Yep.
You've also played it docked and on your telly.
Yes, I have.
Okay.
I've only got a 1080p TV, and as you've probably
Switcheroo does it in 1080p though, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it's upscaling because the screen's only 720p itself.
Well, this is what I was going to ask. Have you noticed a difference when you play Zelda, especially between the small screen and the big screen?
Unfortunately, I have. As you've probably seen reported on websites and everything else, when it's in the dock and it goes onto the TV, when it's raining or storms or foggy or anything else like that, it takes a considerable frame rate drop. And normally it's not noticeable if you're playing and it's sunny or cloudy or whatever else, but as soon as the weather kicks up or if it's got a lot of different particles that it's got to deal with, it really struggles and it probably drops roughly to around about 15 to 20 frames a second, if that, rather than a solid 30.
That's a hell of a drop for a console in 2017.
It really is.
You know,
this is my only...
I'll be the first to admit I don't give a shit about frame rates. As long as the game is playable, I don't really care. You know, if it drops a little bit when the screen's full, that's fine. You know, I've played most open world games that do that. You know, I grew up with with Nintendo Entertainment Systems. You don't have to fucking tell me about shitty frame rates. They don't really bother me. But, you know, for a brand new console in 2017, I would expect better than it dropping, 10 frames a second when you put it into the dock, which should make it more powerful.
No. This is the disappointing part. Originally, everyone was reporting rumours that when it was in the dock, it was going to get a power boost and everything.
Yeah.
But I've seen a video online where they've took the Switch, the Joy-Cons, and the dock apart, and literally the dock is just a USB charging and the HDMI, and then that is it. There is no extra power in there, no extra processors, no nothing. It's literally just a charge and okay. And something to read USB sticks from.
Fair
Jesus,
enough.
I was really thinking that the dock should have been like an external graphics card, something.
I thought the dock was one of the main parts of the console. That's disappointing, I have to admit.
I mean, it's nice to know that as soon as I'm done for the night and I'm going to bed, I can just put it in its dock. It's going to be charged ready for the morning, so I can carry on to work. And the kids aren't going to be able to touch it really and stuff like that. It's nice to know that it's safe and secure like that. But then at the same time, you wish that it was able to keep up in 1080, but it just can't. it's still playable even with the frame rate drops, but it's certainly noticeable, and you can certainly see juttering about with it.
And you say Zelda's the only game you've played on it?
Other than the Snipper Clips demo, yes. However, I am looking to get a few more, such as probably Splatoon 2. There's Mario coming out before the end of the year, and there's also Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Now, I've got Mario Kart out on the Wii U, but I can't resist another good Mario Kart, and Mario Kart 8 was fantastic.
Fair enough. So, apart from like people that buy every console, what would be the unique selling point for this machine over the Wii U, or what would be unique to owning this over owning a Wii U and a 3DS?
Well, I would say Zelda, but obviously that's also on the Wii U, so I can't, unfortunately.
I'm not asking these questions to be difficult. I'm genuinely curious because I know quite a few people that own a Wii U that would consider upgrading the same way we would go from a PS3 to a PS4 if it had a unique selling point. And I don't think the fact that when you say it doesn't really get a power boost when you plug it into the dock, basically you've sold me a 2DS.
Not in that sense. It has a considerable better graphics, processing power, all of that lot.
Well, no, I understand that. But what I mean is, you've basically sold me a portable machine, that I can plug into the TV. You can plug the Vita into the TV if you want. What I'm trying to say is they're selling this thing as a console, a home console, when in actual fact it sounds like it is really a portable machine that you can dock. I don't understand what the unique selling point to this thing is outside of I can take Zelda to the toilet.
If that's not compelling enough, I don't know what is. Because doing shrines and everything else on the toilet while you're having a shit for about an hour is rather fun. The most compelling thing...
Shitting for an hour is not fun. Shitting for an hour requires a doctor.
Okay, I may need to see a doctor then. I'll take your advice on that one.
Wait, don't take Brooker's advice on anything.
No.
I actually think seeing a doctor might help, but yeah, there we go. As long as it's not Brooker as the actual doctor.
You can take the Switch with you while you're in the waiting room.
Exactly.
I don't think the battery would last that long.
True.
That entirely depends on the game. Which I actually got asked about over Facebook not too long ago by one of my in-laws' uncles, whereby he just asked how long the batteries last, and it was reported that by standard it can last 3 to 6 hours depending on the game. Now I know that Skyrim's also going to be coming out for it, and one of my other family members has been absolutely ripping the piss out of it by saying that Skyrim will only last about 30 seconds at most because of the power on it. But with Zelda being my main game, I can actually probably get about 5 hours out of the battery life before I have to charge it back up again.
Okay.
And that is...
Hold on a minute. Skyrim's not out on it yet?
Not yet, but it will be.
Oh, okay. Oh,
yeah.
Let's rush to get that 3-4-year-old game out. Fucking hell. Sorry, I assumed it was a launch game because, it's 5 years old.
I wouldn't even consider Skyrim to be that powerful a game. Or
it is with
that
the
much
special
power.
Edition.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, the upscaled... I can't remember what they've called it. Director's Cut, Special Edition, whatever it is they fucking called it. I can imagine it requiring the power. I just thought it was... I thought it was a launch title.
No, it's Bethesda.
Considering the way they advertised it.
I mean, come on.
Sorry, Jack.
Yeah.
Go on, mate.
Yeah. It's Bethesda, and can you really blame them? They've not done a game for Nintendo for some years now. So obviously they've got to get accustomed with the new coding situation, what languages and everything it uses. And fair enough, I'll give Bethesda their dues. They do, at least for me, with Elder Scrolls, they do very good games. And I do really enjoy Skyrim. I've had it on the PlayStation 3. I got the Max Collector's Edition with the absolutely massive dragon statue, and I also got it on the PlayStation 4 for the special edition on there. And I would have told the wife, look, I don't care what you say, I'm getting Skyrim on the Switch as well, purely so I can take it to work with me. And I love Skyrim, I really do.
Fair enough.
And that is one of the more compelling games for me, to what caused me to buy it. Even if it is, I think it's coming out October time, I think they've said.
Jeez.
I'll be having a look into that.
So when the Switch is probably halved in value.
Yeah.
More than likely.
Bloody hell. So is there anything else coming out for it? I can't remember. So I remember me and John talked about this a little while ago, and I've slept and had several beers since then, so I generally don't remember anything.
Various unconfirmed EA titles.
Oh, wow. Well, spoiling us there, aren't they?
Yeah.
Don't mind to bring up the whole...
coming out for it?
Nope.
No, it's not.
Really?
I think the only officially confirmed EA title is FIFA football. Not even FIFA year iteration of whatever year it comes out.
It's going to be called FIFA football, isn't it?
Probably. And it'll be the old Ignite engine, not Frostbite, probably.
That's a shame that they're not putting Andromeda on it, because that would be a system seller. But, being able to take Mass Effect Portable would sell that system.
Yeah, but the battery would only last about 4 seconds.
True. But because the Wii U had Mass Effect 3?
Correct?
I think. Yeah?
Yep.
They all look the same to me.
You shut your whore mouth.
So it surprises me that they're not putting that one on there when you could guarantee. I would say you'd probably guarantee sales putting it on there, but maybe it's maybe the tech can't handle it. Maybe they've got no dev units for it. I don't know. I don't see inside the mind of these people. I was just curious.
It's quite possible that they may very well release it later on in the year or announce it later on or something like that. It may also be that you never know. They might Rockstar might announce Red Dead Redemption 2 for the Switch. Now that certainly would sell some systems.
That would sell a lot. Awful lot. Is it going to be on the Switch? They haven't announced it yet, have they?
They haven't announced any consoles for it. They've just announced that it's coming out fall this year.
No, they haven't. They announced PS4 and Xbox.
Have they?
Yeah, because there was fucking uproar because it went on PC.
Again.
I'm going to look that up now as well.
Oh, that'd be brilliant if they released it on
the
Switch.
But not on PC.
On PC.
That'd be outstanding.
Considering a lot of the classic GTAs have been released on iOS, at the very least iPad, or the newer iterations of iPads.
Yeah.
I think 3, Vice City, San Andreas may have been released on iPad. So, yeah, I can see portable versions of newer games.
Yeah. Would they stick Red Dead 1 on the... I want to call it the Wii U then. It's not the Wii U. The Wii U 2 Switch.
Yep. Wii U 2. The Wii U probably should have been at launch.
Very much so. Yeah, I'm just looking it up at the minute, and apparently there's major rumours going around that Red Dead 2 isn't coming on the Switch, which, to be fair, isn't unprecedented or unexpected, to be fair. So
probably a rumour. A rumour of it coming to the console would actually, be a rumour. That's just, oh, by the way, PSN's down today.
A rumour of it not coming is just someone putting up an article for a click.
More than likely, but that's what a quick Google search gave me.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
So I'm having a look at the rest of the launch lineup, or after launch rather. There's Has Been Hero, Ram Setsuna, Super Bomberman.
Lineup.
What?
Launch window lineup.
Yeah, there we go.
It's the correct term.
That's the one. Super Bomberman R is already out for it, which is essentially an updated version of the original Bomberman games, which is, I think, can support either 4 or up to 8 people on the one screen. And I've seen numerous pictures of 4 people all grouping around the tiny little one screen itself, all playing Bomberman, where they already had a dock available, but they just wanted to see what it was like on the smaller screen. And it wasn't good, because you could barely see a thing.
Everybody loves Bomberman, though.
Is the Binding of Isaac out for it yet? Because that was supposed to be a launch title and got delayed, didn't it?
Which one?
The Binding of Isaac.
Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus is apparently spring 2017, so no official date just yet.
Fair enough.
It looks like Sonic Mania is also coming to it as well, so I will probably get that on the Switch.
Oh look, Minecraft. Because of course fucking Minecraft is coming to it. And Steep, apparently. Yeah, you enjoy that.
No, thank you. I've played Steep already, and as mentioned previously, the best part for me was just on my face in the wingsuit.
I do like the sound of zombie Vikings.
There's another Fire Emblem game, and there's also Super Mario Odyssey as well.
I have
Splatoon.
to admit, the list I'm looking at it doesn't blow me away at all.
No. I mean, there's Splatoon 2 as well, which my oldest will absolutely murder me for, because he loves it on the Wii U and didn't stop playing it for a good 5 or 6 days straight as soon as we got it while we were at one of the Japanese events in London.
Yeah.
Hyper Japan. There we go. And just kept moaning at me. Can we play Splatoon? Can we play Splatoon? No, fuck off. Oh, joy. There's one that's coming that has been out for some years as well. Lego City Undercover.
Oh, good.
Originally released on the Wii U.
To absolutely no fanfare whatsoever. Sold like
because it was
copies.
terrible.
Really? I heard quite good things about it. I have to admit, I was a little bit sad that I didn't get to play it.
It did eventually release on other consoles. I think it came out on the PS3 and such at this, a few months later. But I've never been all too keen on Lego games. I mean, last one I played was Lego Marvel Superhero. That was the most fun I've ever had with a Lego game.
Fair enough.
I don't play them often. There's also ARMS as well, which
that's the boxing thing, isn't it?
Yeah, where every character has got extendable arms. It's kind of like the whole Wii U boxing on Wii Sports, but online multiplayer. And there's obviously nothing tying you down between the two controllers.
Yeah. But
it looks like a more upgraded and better version of that. It certainly looks fun, considering the whole character variances that you've got, because from what I saw, you've got a selection of different weapons. So you can have fists that have got rockets on them, others that can produce shields, stuff like that. And it looks like it might actually be a really fun multiplayer game.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Cool. I don't think I have any other things to ask. No. Although, and this was awesome. So I did kind of not really officially, but I did kind of say on the Twitter and Facebook pages that you were coming on, and if anybody had any questions.
Oh God!
I promised
you'd bring this up.
I promised I would ask this mainly because no one ever fucking interacts with us, so I'm definitely asking this one. So your wife would like to know why you bought the Nintendo Switch instead of buying her something nice. Remembering you're going on the record, I'm not editing out anything you say.
Oh, you bastard. I'll have you for the recording's done. I'm going to be very nice here and say that it is a present to myself, considering that I have bought her a not prepaid, but I'm pretty much going to be paying for everything. I've bought her a trip to Paris to see a composer called Joe Hisaishi, and that's happening in June. And we're going to be there for 3 days. But I bought her that for Christmas. So I bought this for myself for Christmas.
Fair enough. You're aware
so
of
that's my excuse. So the wife is giving me such evil looks at the moment. And calling me a cunt and everything under the weather.
Bless her.
Bullshit. So that's my excuse.
Save all the domestics for after I've stopped recording stuff.
I'll try. I can't promise anything.
Well, otherwise it's admissible in court.
I claim absolutely nothing, and I'm still claiming no comment.
How about John? You got any questions you fancy asking?
I was going to say I'm waiting on a response back from some friends of mine, but all of them replied with things along the lines of and non-committal other statements of things, which is really fucking irritating considering I've got a friend who desperately wants to buy a Switch.
Clearly so desperately he doesn't know what to ask.
Yeah.
He's got so many questions he didn't know where to start.
Yeah. His sole reasoning to wanting a Switch is to play Zelda.
Has he got a Wii U?
He does not know.
Then tell him to get a Switch. There you go. Sorted.
There we go.
Yeah, I do not recommend the Wii U. They've even stopped production of them now, so anything other than pre-owned one, probably not going to manage.
I'd get a Wii U just because it still has Smash Brothers.
I think Nintendo announced a couple of days back that they are going to be bringing a version of Super Smash Brothers to the Switch. I'm not too sure if they meant the original one or a brand new one.
If it's not a brand new Smash Brothers game, I'm not really interested. It's like, I say that I was going to buy a Wii U because Smash Brothers, and then didn't. So, releasing a Smash Brothers game on Switch doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to pick up a Switch to play Smash Brothers. And I do love Smash Brothers.
I ended up with both versions, the Wii U version and the 3DS version, and loved both of them, but I can only take so much of Smash Brothers before I get sick of it.
Yeah,
I'm mostly just
the
finding new
Nintendo
characters.
Online system doesn't really work particularly well. It's still hella laggy.
It doesn't bloody want to be when they start charging for it.
True.
Yeah, that's not what I'm looking forward to. I'm hoping that they end up learning from Sony and Xbox that when they start charging people, they will start giving games away for free and everything else. Just
Aren't they giving you rentals like per month? You get to rent basically they give you a virtual console game and you get to have that for a month, and then when the next month starts and you get your new virtual console game, last month's one disappears.
I haven't seen anything on it, and I've been keeping my eye out on the internet for quite some time, and I've not seen that rumor, I must admit.
I'm almost certain that's how it's going to be running.
That doesn't sound so bad as long as the monthly title isn't something awesome followed by something terrible.
I think the problem is, okay, so PlayStation Plus kind of had to do the freebies because they were going to start charging for a service that we'd been getting for free for ages. So they kind of had to have a reason to do it. So they gave us all these freebies and they've done all right with that. But, because I've never let my PS Plus subscription lapse, I can go out tomorrow and buy another PS3 and set it up, and I can install all of the games that I got from the first month that PS Plus was a thing. They're all still mine. And I think the problem with the Nintendo rental system is that in a year's time, you can't play what you got 12 months ago. You can only play what you have that month. You don't have access to anything previous. And I think that kind of sucks.
I don't actually find that too bad of a system, considering that the console itself only comes with, I believe, 32 gig internal memory, and with expandable from micro SD.
You don't have to install it and leave it there permanently. You can do like everybody else does with Games for Gold and PS Plus. You add it to your shopping, you add it to your cart, you buy it, and then you leave it on your download list until you decide you want to download it.
That's true.
I think Nintendo are going about it the wrong way. If I'm wrong and that's not how they're doing it, then forget everything I just said. But I'm almost certain that's how their online service is going to run. Granted, they're charging half of what Sony and Microsoft are charging for their online service when it comes online as a subscription service. But it still seems a little bit backwards to me.
I don't think it's going to be too bad, considering that I think they're looking to charge from, I've heard, around about October, maybe September time of the year.
Yeah.
They're not going to have a whole lot of games out by then, so I think the rental system might be pretty decent until about a year into the system's release, where they should then start allowing you to actually have, even if it's just one game permanently, just so that it can keep you going in that sense. Whereas I think the rental will only literally work up until that point, and then, as I say, I think you'll need to start giving games away.
Yeah. But
it's a good system for a small library.
Yeah, but once I get the virtual console up and running properly, it's not that small a library anymore.
Yeah, but even with the virtual console, I think they've already stated that, say, for example, if you bought, I don't know, say Pokemon Red and Blue on the 3DS, and then they brought it to the Switch, it doesn't carry over. You would have to repurchase those games. And that's what they've always done. The Wii had virtual console. The Wii U had virtual console.
Yeah, but what I mean is,
the 3DS has got it, and you have to constantly repurchase those games if you want to play it on that system. It doesn't carry over to any others.
But what I mean is, regardless of having to buy it for every console type you want to play it on, which is fucking horseshit, regardless of that, the virtual console library itself is a big fucking library. We're not talking they have a list of 12 games and that's it. They've got years and years, they've got decades worth of games on that virtual console. I remember having my, the virtual console on the Wii and playing all the fucking original NES Mario Brothers games on there. What I mean is for a machine with a very small library that doesn't do anything going backwards, renting for a bit would be fine. But if you're renting from the virtual console library, there's no excuse not to give those away, because you have you could keep your customers going for years just with your subscription service games that you're handing out. But I mean, that's neither here nor there. I might be wrong in how it's working. I'm not going to go looking because I'm on Skype and doing things. I don't want to take up my internet with YouTube videos of how the system might work.
Now I really want to play Mario All-Stars.
Super Mario Golf might be an idea. I think it would work even better with the rental system if that then included, if they could ever upgrade the Virtual Console system to then include online multiplayer with it.
Yeah.
So as I've just mentioned, Super Mario Golf or something like that always had local multiplayer because it was before the internet. I think to then upgrade that to allow for online multiplayer and stuff like that, I think that would then increase the amount of subscriptions that they can get on the system.
Yeah, but then you've got to fundamentally change the game, don't you? Which is the issue with something like that. So,
exactly.
So what you're actually asking there is for like an HD remake. It's the kind of thing you would expect from an HD remake. Or something kind of named HD remake.
Yeah, 720p remake.
Yeah, almost HD remake.
The remake of the upscaling. There we go. Yeah, another problem that I've got with it is that with the... I take it you know about how most of the Switch for like online multiplayer and stuff like that is going to require phone apps?
No.
What? Okay. Yeah. So, say for example, you can add friends and everything on the main Switch console itself, but then to be able to voice chat, message people and stuff like that, it's all going to be done via phone apps.
Oh, for fuck's sake, Nintendo.
Yeah.
Bunch of useless toss bags.
Bad enough, they're still keeping the whole friend code thing.
That was never expected until they actually showed it on release and people found it.
I can't believe they brought friend codes back. It's so backwards.
Yeah.
It's backwards because they don't allow you to publicly advertise them on any Nintendo forum of any kind.
It's even worse.
It's like you can't publicly display your friend code because it should be private.
But it's not a friend code then, is it? It's just a code.
Well, I've
like
seen many of...
I've got a phone and a phone number, but I'm not giving it to you because it's private.
Only telemarketers are allowed to call it.
You want to talk to me, you'll have to fucking guess my number.
I've seen quite a few people post theirs online. I mean, even I've done it on Twitter and Facebook and stuff, and it's allowed quite a few of my friends to add me, but if I go on to add friend on the system, the only way of doing it is to search for local users, which is kind of like the Street Pass system that you had on the 3DS. Search for users you've played with. So as soon as I actually have an online multiplayer game, anyone I've played with, kind of like on the PlayStation and the Xbox, I can then send them friend requests.
Yeah.
And I can search by friend code. And then that's it. The only other way it can be done is that it can actually link up with the Nintendo apps. Like, say, for example, if you ever played Miitomo on your phone or anything like that, if you then link the app into your Nintendo account, anyone that you've got friends with on there then show up on the Switch as a potential friend for you to add. But that's the only other way that you can actually do it.
Bloody hell.
There's no searching for user IDs or anything like that.
See, this is the thing for me. So, I mean, we've come across, like, while we've been talking, we've come across like this handful of really stupid, shitty, niggly little problems. But just one or two of those problems is fine. But all of these ones that are coming up, I'm like, well, this is kind of putting me off.
A big list of minor inconveniences teams up together to make one massive inconvenience.
Yep.
Well, that was the thing even with the PlayStation and the Xbox, though. But for me, those weren't tiny little niggly things for the PlayStation and the Xbox. It was always one or two big problems. Whereas at least Nintendo have got it the other way around, where it's a bunch of little small things. And I'd rather a bunch of little small things than one or two major problems.
No, that's fair enough. It's all about what you're willing to put up with, because none of these systems is perfect by a long shot. I'm just curious as to get the... because you're the only person I spoke to that's actually played one of these things, that actually owns one, so I want to get all my stupid, shitty questions out.
I mean, I say I was lucky enough to get one on launch. I mainly say I'm lucky because I had
Because you got one
pre-ordered
and your wife
myself.
didn't kill you when you came back through the door.
No, she had been sedated with Final Fantasy 14, so she was rather tired by the time I got back because it was around about 12:30, maybe 1:45 that I got back
Bloody hell.
home.
Did you go out for the midnight launch for one?
I did.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I had to. I mean, don't forget, I messaged you over Twitter saying, look, I'm probably not going to get it on launch. I popped into the shop the day after and said, look, what's the deal with Phase 2 pre-orders? Because I'd actually pre-ordered the Neon one with the red and blue controllers. And I said to them, look, are you going to have any spare grey ones to sell openly on the midnight launch? And they said, well, at the moment, we may or may not, because it depends on how many people pick it up. But what I was told was that they have enough stock of the red and blue neon ones to do both Phase 1 and Phase 2, except for one person in Phase 2. Now, I didn't want to miss out on having to wait like an extra week or 2 weeks or whatever until they got their next delivery just to be able to pick it up. And luckily enough, my work had their late Christmas do, one of the local restaurants. So after we finished there at about 9 o'clock, me and a load of work colleagues then went out to the pub on the Thursday night, and I was there till about 10:30. And then literally, I just got on one of the last buses.
Did you say late Christmas do?
Late Christmas do. We never had one.
Is this why you think it's okay to buy yourself a Christmas present in March?
We just never had a Christmas do at work. I didn't have one the year previous either.
If you get to the end of January and you haven't had your Christmas do, just forget about it. It's too late.
At this point, it's more of an early Easter do.
It really is.
It can't be. There were fucking crackers on the table. Christmas crackers.
Oh,
Easter crackers.
Bunch of fucking losers. Jesus Christ. I am too tired for this bullshit.
So yeah, got to 10:30 at the pub, jumped on the last bus, got into Warsaw, and the doors were already open. I went in, paid for it, and then what they did is they kept us all in the store because there was only about 20 of us or so. Kept us in the store. About 10 to 12 came, they locked us in, gave us our stuff. Midnight opened, and then we got let out. But luckily, when I went to pay for my system, they actually had, I think it was 3 grey ones available for free sale. So I said, look, I've pre-ordered the grey Joy-Cons as well, which I had done. And said, look, because I pre-ordered these, I actually wanted the grey one itself. Can I have one of the free sale ones? And they said, yeah, we'll just swap it out for you. So I was actually lucky enough to get what I wanted in the first place without having to pay the £72 or whatever it is for the extra 2 Joy-Cons.
Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah.
There's the major inconvenience of the Nintendo Switch. Is the fucking cost of all the individual things.
Oh, I think we had this conversation before, didn't we? I mean, all the consoles you have to buy a shitload of accessories, but 70 fucking quid for a controller is... For a standard controller, you know, add a few quid more, I can go and buy an Elite controller.
Yeah, I was going to say, I bought my Elite controller for 77.
Yeah, I mean, just for the one Joy-Con alone, whether it be left or right, is £42.
Fuck.
You can buy them individually?
Yes, you can.
Can I fuck with people and just have like 2 right-hand controllers?
Yeah, you could.
I am such a fucking douchebag.
Yes.
No comment.
Well, anybody that's been listening to this for long enough knows I'm a complete fucking douchebag.
Yes.
Oh,
No comment.
Christ. Fucking
have you actually seen the cost of
February, twats?
The price of the Pro controller on its own is £65.
Dear Lord.
What?
Yeah.
Can I just plug a GameCube controller into it?
No, unfortunately not. Not unless you've got a USB Type-C to GameCube controller port, maybe.
Oh, good.
But that's
USB-C as well. Thank fuck for that. Cheers, Apple. Twats. For fuck's sake.
Someone is going to make a USB-C to GameCube controller. Because the GameCube controller was perfect.
Nah.
And then...
I can smell waffles.
You having a stroke?
Maybe. Over the waffles.
I don't know what to say there.
It's best not to say anything, just leave me to my own devices. I find it works better that way.
Just let it happen.
That's what she said.
That's what I said.
Yeah,
Oh,
they've
dear.
also got a standard UK or US or whatever type of plug that you'll need for your region to the USB Type-C charger, and for us they were charging 30 quid,
Fucking hell.
and that is just ridiculous prices.
And you haven't even bought a game yet at this point.
Exactly. What I found ridiculous though, Zelda, at least for the Switch, £60. I can understand that price because that was the price of PlayStation 4 and Xbox One games on release.
Yeah.
The Wii U version, 60 fucking quid.
What?
Exactly the same price. That
I guess it's to stop people buying a Wii U with Zelda.
Wow.
that to me was just fucking ridiculous because even a normal standard brand new Wii U game nowadays is at most £40, not fucking 60.
But that's mostly the cost of printing to a Blu-ray disc.
But the Wii U doesn't even take Blu-ray discs. It's still standard. I think it's even single layer DVDs.
I thought the Wii U was a Blu-ray drive.
Nope.
Non-Blu-ray disc video playing, but the games were on Blu-ray.
I don't believe so. I've had to look at the discs and they're not exactly blue tinted.
Must be, because Mass Effect 3 is only on one disc on the Wii U as far as I'm aware. And that's 2 disc on Xbox 360. One disc on PlayStation 3. Wrong at this, but I'm pretty sure that the Wii U version is only one disc.
I'm going to have a look at this now because I always thought it was just standard DVD.
Welcome to the Character Unlock Google Hour.
Yep. That's how long it takes to open Firefox at the moment, for fuck's sake.
Proprietary high-density optical discs apparently can hold up to 25 gig of data, which is about half of a Blu-ray. Oh, well, no, sorry, single
That's a
single layer
single layer.
Yeah,
Blu-ray.
that's just a Blu-ray.
Yeah, but it's not actual Blu-ray.
Wow, imagine
Basically,
imagine the money
they-
they spent inventing their own Blu-ray.
Probably cheaper than buying the rights to Blu-ray from Samsung, Sony, LG.
Yeah, I suppose. Wow. I think is that us done with the Switch talk? Do we think?
Now we're just ripping on Blu-ray.
Well, yeah. We've just gone off on several tangents, including Christmas parties in fucking February.
Blame the bosses. Fuck them.
Fucking douche canoe do you work for? Jesus,
One that lives down in London.
dear Lord.
Yeah, that's the problem. He was from London.
Yeah, fucking London.
Fucking cunts. Oh, one last bit of info. I know that you asked earlier.
Okay, go on.
Apparently the Switch has sold so far worldwide 1.5 million.
Is that good? Bad?
I think it's better than the Wii U and the Wii so far.
Okay.
I don't
It's
know,
only
I'm pretty
been
sure
for a
like
week.
60 is better than the Wii U.
Well, this is it. You buying one is better than the Wii U.
So I'm just looking for anything where they've compared it to Wii U sales. For context, the Wii sold 600,000 units over a 6-day period in America back in November 2006.
Okay.
Whereas the
1.5 worldwide. That
Yeah.
sounds about matching.
the Wii sold 600,000 units in the US, but the Switch has sold 500,000 units in the US.
Whoa.
So it's not
Still-
far off.
No, it's still good numbers though. You know, there's absolutely nothing wrong with those numbers at all. And you know, Zelda on release week charted. The only thing it charted behind was Horizon, which, okay, this is the stupidest fucking stat ever, but it's Sony's biggest new IP launch on the PlayStation 4. I don't know what else you compare that to. Knack, maybe.
No, you had to say that word, didn't
Well,
you?
there are no other fucking new IPs on the PlayStation 4 that are just Sony.
There aren't that many just new IPs in general.
Well, no, but this is what I mean. This was the report that was going around. Like Sony were bragging, you know, this is the best, the biggest new IP launch on PlayStation 4, you know, for Sony ever. And the only other thing I could think of that was a new IP launched on just the PlayStation 4 was Knack. And Knack was a launch bundle title with a load of PlayStations, and it still didn't fucking sell that well. Anyway, beyond the point. But the only thing Zelda charted behind was Horizon, which seems pretty good considering the install base for PlayStation 4 is much, much better than the install base for Wii U and the newly released Switch. I don't think they can complain about the numbers they've done for the console or for Zelda.
No, if it's only trailing behind by 100,000 in the US at least, they certainly can't complain about that, because I think the Wii U sold probably 150,000 in the same time period on launch.
Yeah.
And 500,000 to me is spectacular. I don't think they could have asked for anything more, really, considering the backlash that they had for the Wii U.
No.
And how shit that was. But I'm just more looking forward to what kind of exclusives they're going to get. I'm looking forward to, as I say, Skyrim. They get a Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. There's Splatoon 2, which my kids are going to love.
Yeah.
Super Mario Odyssey as well looks really good for my liking. I'm not normally one for Mario games, but that one looks really good. So I'm looking forward to that as well.
Cool. So yeah, I think we're all switched out now, aren't we?
I think we're all switched off.
Yeah. So let's rattle off quickly with a couple of recommendations for people. We've got a couple of weeks before our next episode, so recommendations. I'll start off. My recommendation is a game actually that's been mentioned already today. Tearaway Unfolded.
Yep.
Has just been released on PlayStation Plus for the PS4, so freebie for the month. And I've not played Tearaway Unfolded, but I have played Tearaway on the Vita, and it is a very, 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 very good game. A lot of fun. Absolutely worth going out and spending absolutely nothing on. So get it downloaded and have a go. Jack, have you got a recommendation for people?
I did say I was going to try and go for something non-Switch, but after tallying up roughly around about 35 to 40 hours of the Switch with Zelda, I'm going to have to say Zelda.
You can recommend people go out and spend £300 on a console and buy Zelda? Cool.
Yes, it
Fair
is
enough.
By far worth the money.
Right, and John, what are you recommending for a couple of weeks?
I'm recommended that you pick up EA Access and then download and play the 10-hour trial of Mass Effect Andromeda. You don't even need to pick up EA Access, just Origin Access as well.
Yeah. So our podcast comes out Friday.
So yesterday.
So it comes out. So the trial's available from yesterday.
I believe so. Yes.
Okay,
I think
so as people are listening to this, John has already wasted his 10 hours trying to get Commander Shepard's hair right.
It's not Shepard. Shut up. Ryder.
You'll have spent 9.5 hours just in the character creation for that.
Yep.
So yeah. So sorry, kind of EA Access and Origin Access, or just EA or
EA and Origin Access.
Okay, and it's a 10-hour trial.
10-hour trial. Yeah.
What does the trial cover?
The trial covers a small amount of single player. So the first planet, a couple of hours if you decide to not bother trying to leave the planet. So you get a couple of hours with the single player, and then it's unlimited access to the multiplayer for those 10 hours. If you, like me, will probably choose to not bother wasting your 10 hours trying to design your new rider.
Fair
or
enough.
Fem Rider.
Fem Rider.
Fem Rider. Like Fem Shep, only with Rider instead of Shepherd.
Fair enough.
Oh, and Brooker, I did mention in the last episode to tell you that all 6 of the Andromeda Initiative episodes are up and live.
Oh, they're all up now?
Yep.
Cool. So at some point after this episode goes up, otherwise it's just going to be completely nonsensical, one of us will find a link to all the videos and tweet them from the Character Unlock account, mainly, so I can find them. Cool. But I'll definitely give them a watch. I have lunch breaks and things at work. I'm not adverse to watching dodgy YouTube videos while I'm at work. Cool.
It's 20 minutes tops, I think.
Yeah.
So
I'll give it a go.
So that's 20 minutes longer than your usual lunch break time.
Yeah. It's also 20 minutes more than I would usually spend on Mass Effect stuff.
Yeah. Come.
Anyways, so last thing, quickly talking about Mass Effect. So in a couple of weeks, you are doing a Mass Effect special episode.
Yes, and you'll be nowhere near it, thank fuck.
No, I have said I'm going to be nowhere near it. It will be under 3 hours, won't it, John?
It will be under 3 hours.
because I've got to edit this motherfucker when you're done with it.
It will be 7 hours.
Okay.
It will be the length of the EA Access trial.
Yeah. Yes. So, a Mass Effect special, it'll be you, and who else is going to be joining you?
I'm attempting to have our good friend Brian and also our other good friend Lee.
So, Brian from the Assassin's Creed pod.
Yes.
And
Brian from Assassin's Creed pod and Lee
from the Nothing. Because
from he's my imaginary friend.
Ah. He's the one that touches you in your sleep.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, so, and I'm hoping that we will still have it out on time, although to be honest, that will be a monstrous editing job because I won't be involved in the conversation, so I won't know what I'm supposed to cut and what I'm not supposed to cut. But I mean, that's neither here nor there.
You'll have to listen to all of it first in completely raw file and just go, yeah, I can cut this because it's not mentioned later.
Just remember, I'm the guy that puts the stingers into these episodes.
Oh, shit.
If you say anything fucking stupid, it will stay in the episode.
I won't say anything stupid. I never say anything stupid. Fuck you.
So yeah, a couple of weeks' time will be our Mass Effect special, which will be a few days after Andromeda finally releases. We give John and Mike for a couple of hours to let him spew Mass Effect, and we never have to hear about it again, do we, John?
Sure. Whatever makes you not touch yourself at night.
Well. So, until then, I've got a couple of shout-outs. Every couple of weeks I do these, so obviously we've got Failed Critics. If you're listening to us, you're listening on their feed, so you should be listening to them for sure. Our other sister podcast, Underground Nights, my good mate Paul and his good mate James do a cult film podcast. Very informative, very funny, guaranteed to come back with a couple of films you've never heard of, but you absolutely must watch. Our friend Matt, who is regularly on the Retro Gaming Discussion Show, RGDS, because I cannot speak. Recently did a couple of hours on the Transformers animated movie, which was an amazing episode. Absolutely go and look those guys up. Who else? The Same Coin, who are an amazing video game and entertainment podcast. I can't live without their podcast. It's easily one of my favourites. And I think that's it. If you guys want to do any shout-outs, or have any shout-outs to do?
Nope.
I think I'm good.
Cool. Just me. I'm alright with that. I don't mind at all. Did you want to plug anything, Jack, yourself, or anything you do?
Sure, why not? I tend to stream on Twitch every so often. It's not exactly regular, like once a week or anything like that, because of family requirements, but every so often I'll go on Resident Evil or something in the PlayStation VR and have quite a few scared shitless moments on there, so that's quite a good laugh. I'll probably end up streaming some Horizon Zero Dawn at some point, but you can find me on Twitch or possibly on YouTube if you'd like, at Technologic, which is TECHS NOLOGC. Hang on, TECHS NOLOGIC.
Cool.
I think I've spelled that right.
Yeah, second time around, I think you got it.
Yeah.
And until the Mass Effect episode, Mr. Miller, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at John_CU or on Xbox Live as LongDongSilver.
Cool. And you can find me, as always, I'm on Twitter at Brooker411, where I bitch about movies and games and pretty much anything that pisses me off at the time. You will also find me a regular writer, contributor, podcaster with Failed Critics. And if you don't want to find any of us anywhere else, you can find Character Unlock at Character Unlock for Twitter, at Character Unlock for Facebook, at Character Unlock for Instagram, and very occasionally, because I think we had our first one last week, Mr. Miller at least, and I don't intend on leaving him alone to do this, but Mr. Miller has done some video game streaming. How did that go, Mr. Miller?
I think I had about 4 people watch at any point, which is weird because there was actually quite a lot of people who voted for Mass Effect to be the... Oh shit, I mentioned Mass Effect again, didn't I?
That's all right, I can cut it.
A lot of people voted for Mass Effect over Rainbow Six, and I didn't get that many people watch it. But then again, Beam is also a load of horse shit.
Is Beam like Xbox proprietary shit?
It's Xbox version of Twitch, which is weird because you can put anything. You don't have to be on Xbox to do it. There's a lot of they've put a big push onto PC gamers, as well as so.
Can we stream from YouTube or stream to YouTube from Xbox?
I don't think you can. I'm going to give Twitch probably a bash next time I can give it a go.
We might have to spend some time and organise a character unlock account that we can log in with.
I don't know if you can have more than one gamer tag attached to the same account.
Maybe we sort out character unlock gamer tags as well. But that's down the line. But yes, on occasion, John, especially so far, has been doing some Beam streaming. Just makes it sound like you're pissing on a torch. But yeah, we streaming some games. Come find us. We will always talk about it beforehand on Twitter, on Facebook, and things. And I think that's it. So yeah, find us on Twitter, find us on Facebook and Instagram and everywhere. And until then, thank you everybody for listening, and thank you Jack for coming on for the first time.
Not a problem. Thanks for having me. I hope it's been all right.
Hopefully we haven't put you off completely and you'll be back on at some point.
No, I've had enough of you already.
Good.
Fine. Problem solved. Next.